Dawn breaks quietly over Naples as fishermen push their boats into the bay. Unaware that 10 kilometers inland, a tremor no one feels has just registered on the INGV seismograph at Pisciarelli. A small, sharp microquake, shallow and fleeting, but enough to make two volcanologists glance at each other. Nearby, children race to school across warm cobblestones still radiating the night's heat. On the other side of Europe, in Iceland, black sand beaches lie calm beneath Katla's ice-capped silhouette as tourists take photos in soft morning light. At that exact moment, a new burst of sulfur dioxide rises over Etna, invisible except to the satellite spectrometers sweeping overhead. Everything looks peaceful. Everything sounds ordinary. Yet beneath their feet, pressure is gathering at 3 points across a continent. And the people walking above these systems, laughing, commuting, planning their day, have no idea what is happening under their feet. The urgency begins quietly, in data, not in smoke. Volcanologist Dr. Sarah Montalto reviews the overnight seismic stack at the INGV Naples Observatory. Nothing dramatic, a cluster of shallow microquakes beneath Campi Flegrei, all below magnitude 2, but the pattern worries her. She records in her monitoring log that they are getting tighter. The room is quiet except for the hum of servers and the soft clicking of thermal sensors tracking vent temperatures at Solfatara. Meanwhile, in Catania, cafe owners raise metal shutters as a thin line of steam drifts from Etna's southeast crater. A familiar sight, almost comforting. Dogs bark once, then settle. The air smells faintly of minerals, but locals barely notice. Across the Arctic boundary, Icelandic technician Einar Johnson recalibrates a GPS station south of Katla. The numbers show slight uplift, barely measurable, but consistent. Scientists read patterns long before the public senses change. 3 regions report anomalies, none alarming alone, but concerning together. The recurring motif appears for the first time, a single thin wisp of steam rising from a vent at Solfatara, swirling upward before dissolving into blue sky. Tourists photograph it casually. Beneath them, deep gas channels shift. At Etna, a field team deploys a mobile FTIR spectrometer. Technician Marco Leto reports that sulfur dioxide is elevated again. Not dangerous. Etna often breathes like this. But the intensity has doubled since last week. In Iceland, drone pilot Bryndís Halldórsdóttir launches a thermal imaging flight over Katla's ice cap. Meltwater channels glow faintly warmer. That is new, she murmurs. Normal life continues even as the Earth's signals whisper change. All 3 monitoring agencies file routine, but notable observations within the same hour. Campi Flegrei's caldera, site of ancient super eruptions, has shown uplift cycles for decades. Etna's continuous activity hides deeper patterns of magma ascent. Katla, sleeping since 1918, sits beneath a glacier capable of explosive subglacial bursts. Residents know these facts the way people know the weather: abstract, distant, academic. On Naples's Pozzuoli waterfront, families eat lunch, their chairs vibrating slightly as a soft tremor ripples through the ground. Someone shrugs, truck passing, but no trucks are nearby. In Sicily, hikers climb toward Etna's viewing platforms as cinders crackle underfoot, the scent of sulfur mixing with cold mountain air. In Iceland, sheep scatter briefly as a faint rumble comes from beneath the ice. Nature stores memory in pressure, fractures, and heat. Scientists begin using the phrase, accelerating trend. Underground, magma shifts pathways. At Campi Flegrei, INGV deploys an additional tiltmeter near Pisciarelli. Dr. Montalto studies the graph, a gentle but steady outward bending of the ground. The crust is inflating again, she says softly. At Etna, tremor amplitude increases. A radio crackles, southeast crater tremor rising. It is brief, clipped, businesslike. Katla's ice cap shows subtle harmonic tremor, a signal of moving fluids deep below. Above ground, life remains calm. Naples traffic crawls along Via Campana. At Etna, souvenir stands sell ash-covered postcards. In Iceland, a tour group in bright jackets listens to glacier guides explain volcanic history without knowing they are standing over newly warmed ice. Instruments reveal worlds that the eye cannot see. Monitoring teams request additional field checks because early signs require confirmation. Scientists labor quietly, residents remain unaware. At Campi Flegrei, a gas spectrometer records increased carbon dioxide flux. Technician Alessio Vitale wipes sweat from his forehead despite the cool morning air. The ground beneath the vent is warmer. At Etna, seismologist Dr. Leah Romano matches tremor peaks to vent activity. She says it is aligning, and that is unusual. Her voice is steady and professional, but her eyes narrow. In Iceland, an analyst from the Icelandic Meteorological Office, Hrafn Sigurdsson, watches a swarm appear on his screen. Small quakes, rhythmic and deep. Meltwater sensors near Myrtilsjökull report higher flow. Meanwhile, across Europe, people cook dinner, drive home, plan their evening, blissfully detached from the Earth's stirring. Danger rarely feels like danger in its earliest form. For the first time, all three observatories issue internal advisories recommending heightened attention. The motif changes. The thin steam plume at Solfatara becomes thicker, pulsing faintly. In Naples, a mother pauses, frowning at the smell of sulfur drifting in on a warm breeze. She mutters that it is probably the vents. At Etna, the mountain gives a deep, resonant boom. Snow dust shakes loose from the summit. Nearby residents feel it like distant thunder. In Iceland at midnight, an unusual glow appears beneath Katla's ice, picked up by thermal satellites. Brindis reports that subglacial heating is confirmed. The surface begins to echo what scientists have known for days. 3 volcanoes are now in simultaneous heightened unrest. Cracks appear near Pisciarelli, small but widening. INGV teams rope off the area. Steam rises, warmer than usual. A dog growls at the ground, tail low. At Etna, Strombolian bursts light the pre-dawn sky. Cinders fall like dark snow. Marco radios that activity is intensifying. Lava fragments are going over the rim. In Iceland, sensors detect rapid ice movement. Meltwater floods a small valley. Local police close roads. Residents begin noticing. Phone videos circulate. People call across neighborhoods. Did you feel that? What was hidden becomes visible. Emergency officials prepare statements, precautionary but urgent. Naples issues a civil protection advisory. No evacuation, just awareness. People glance at their phones but continue shopping. Etna's tremor spikes. Authorities close summit trails. Katla's flood risk increases. Evacuation shelters quietly open. Dr. Montalto appears on local TV, careful with words. She says these signs do not guarantee an eruption, but they require vigilance. Her calm voice steadies viewers, but her colleagues see the tension beneath. Across 3 countries, sirens remain silent, but emergency lines warm up. Warnings are always a negotiation between caution and panic. All 3 volcanoes move from yellow to orange alert. Monitoring rooms grow tense. At Campi Flegrei, seismicity shallows. Alessio whispers, "That is magma near the surface." At Etna, glowing vents widen. Southeast crater emits a roaring sound like an approaching train. In Iceland, a harmonic tremor band strengthens, the hallmark of rising magma beneath ice. Residents begin to feel anxiety. Grocery stores in Naples grow crowded. Some Sicilians pack bags. Icelandic farmers move livestock uphill. Human stress rises with scientific uncertainty. All agencies prepare for possible rapid escalation. Morning brings chaos. Campi Flegrei experiences a shallow swarm strong enough to rattle windows across Pozzuoli. Car alarms beep. Dogs bark. Steam jets erupt from new cracks. Etna's crater launches continuous lava fountains visible from Catania's coastline. Ash sweeps across rooftops. Katla's glacier cracks violently, a sound like thunder trapped beneath ice. 3 different landscapes, 3 different sounds, all saying the same thing. Emergency radio messages run through. Increased activity. Prepare Phase 1 evacuation. Road closures implemented. Potential geological detected. The motif peaks. The once thin steam plume now roars upward, thick and forceful, a column of warning. Nature synchronizes without meaning to. Humans interpret meaning because they must act. The triple escalation becomes undeniable. Campi Flegrei releases a sudden phreatic blast. Steam, ash, rock. Not catastrophic, but forceful enough to send debris skyward. Sirens wail across Pozzuoli. Evacuations begin block by block. Etna enters a high-intensity eruption phase. Lava flows down the flank, slow but unstoppable. Helicopters film the glowing rivers as emergency teams divert traffic. Katla erupts beneath the glacier. A massive steam release punches through ice, sending ash into the sky. Meltwater floods farmland. Bridges tremble under the pressure. Each eruption is different, each dangerous, each part of a continental tapestry of unrest. The Earth speaks in many voices: fire, steam, and water. Scientists now race to assess the scale of what has begun. Ash coats Naples' rooftops like gray dust. Families shelter in sports centers. Dr. Montalto walks the evacuated zones, measuring gas and feeling heat through the soles of her boots. At Etna, lava slows, but ashfall continues. Catania Airport suspends operations. Dr. Romano stands at a monitoring station, reviewing tremor decline with exhausted relief. In Iceland, floodwaters recede, but steam still rises from Katla. Einar repairs a damaged GPS mast, ice crunching under his boots. 3 countries, thousands displaced, landscapes changed. Recovery begins even while danger lingers. Monitoring graphs show declining peaks, but not silence. Weeks later, the motif returns one final time. The steam plume at Solfatara now rises thin again, quieter and gentler, but forever changed. Scientists analyze data, including uplift rates, vent temperatures, and ash chemistry. They debate what the triple crises mean. Was it coincidence, shared tectonics, or pure chance? No one agrees. Residents return home slowly. Children play again in the streets of Naples. Tourists climb Etna's trails. Icelandic farmers rebuild fences. But the Earth is different now, subtly reshaped. Its signals recorded in terabytes of seismic, thermal, and gas data that teams will study for years. Nature does not offer closure, only cycles, pulses, and reminders. A lone seismograph needle at a monitoring station clicks softly in the dark, tracing tiny motions in the Earth. Small movements, faint vibrations, a quiet signature that the story beneath continues.